Hey everybody, this is Yafa here, and welcome to my first episode of Low IQ Takes, the series where I look at games, review them, and you guessed it, give low IQ takes. So without further ado, we're going to be looking at Starfield today. So they finally showed off gameplay for Starfield. And when I first saw this video, I was like, wow, they updated all the graphics. Everything looks really nice. It's a really cool scene. And then here was the first problem. I don't know if anyone else noticed it, but this is a landing on the planet cutscene. And that's worrying because you can travel to many planets, and they said you can land anywhere.
Also land and explore anywhere on the planet. And it's not just this planet, it's all the planets in the system.
Wait, so if I can land anywhere, but there's a landing cutscene, am I just going to be able to pick where I land? And then it'll automatically do it? And if you don't believe me about these landing cutscenes, check this out. So that was a montage of taking off from different planets in different environments. So I'm confused. Am I going to have to land every single time in the same spot during a cutscene? Or is it going to be exactly like No Man's Sky where you can just fly in from outer space onto the planet? I don't think they'll be able to do it because their engine, I don't think, can handle it. I know they upgraded a little, but ooh, their engines are a little outdated. And then that also brings up another point. I never saw any kind of land vehicles or anything like that. So how am I going to be able to traverse these planets? Am I going to have to walk around? I don't know if they announced any kind of like moon rover or anything like that. So that is another concern of mine, which maybe they have, and I'm just totally missing it, but you know. And since we're in space now, we might as well talk about the space combat. I was watching a little of this, and I was not impressed by this first impressions, because the space combat looks boring. All they're pretty much doing is shooting lasers at each other and then turning up the screen shake to 11 to make it feel like you're doing something, but man, just watching this, oof, it seemed like an afterthought. Plus, I think I've seen some of the space combat somewhere. So I got a little ahead of myself because the first thing I actually wanted to talk about was the frame rate. So right here in the ship, it looks pretty good, but man, going down this ramp, you can instantly see it dropping, and I think that has to do with their terrible Bethesda engine. I still don't understand how they made this much money and they just haven't put any of it back into their engine. It's crazy. And then also right there, they're copying stuff from No Man's Sky, which instantly makes this look like a knockoff No Man's Sky. Not saying nobody can take any inspiration from any other game, but oof, it's like, I don't know. It just seems like they put it in there just because No Man's Sky had it in there, and everybody initially hated that game, but everybody loves it now. And even here, look at this frame rate just dropping into the ground. I don't even know what to say about it. So the frame rate's still a little poor here, but it's improving a little bit. And they're also, again, with the scanning of No Man's Sky, they also put mining into the game that looks exactly like No Man's Sky, and it also looks worse. No Man's Sky's mining was okay, but if you use somebody's idea again, and it's not an original idea, go ahead and improve on it and not make it feel worse. Oh man, I love this part. I don't know why they added this in, but there's this little jump animation that just makes the frame rate tank. Like, why would you guys even show that off? And once they got into the building, I was like, okay, this is where the frame rate is gonna get good because they don't have to load an environment. But man, look at it. It's still so bad. It's terrible. I also had to show this little part off. So you'd think the frame rate would improve in space because they don't have to load any assets, but just right there, right here, like look at those frame rates. It's so bad. And I don't know if it's because they're lighting that they just didn't make it good because of the new engine, or they just didn't really mess with it too much, but even in space it's bad. I also wanted to touch up on the gameplay. Well, I guess the gunplay, in fact. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's not good either. It doesn't feel like there's any weight behind any of your shots at all. I don't know if it's because when you shoot people, it doesn't look like they're really getting shot until they actually die, and then they have a reaction. And even with the grenade, like, it wasn't even that impressive. Now, he does pull out a shotgun here. Actually, I do like that system where it slows everything down. And that shotgun does feel a little nice, so I do enjoy that. But other than that, eh. Alright, now we're going to see some shooting outside. And again, the gunplay is just kind of lackluster. Even when they shoot you, you don't really have any hit feedback, so you can't even really tell you're getting shot at all. I'm sure that'll be cool. I mean, the frame rate's okay right now. And this is kind of stupid. I don't know if this is dumb AI or if that was just scripted, but it was just like, if all the AI is going to be like that and just kind of running around trying to figure out where cover is, especially if everything's procedurally generated. I also like how that ship came down and it had 2 whole guys in it. Oh man. And I do have to bring this up. So I do not like how the color palette is very washed out. I mean, I'm not saying everything has to be bright and shiny like space in the MCU or anything like that, but it reminds me of Fallout. And the color palette for Fallout made sense because it was a nuclear wasteland, but in space I want to see some vibrance, not just all gray. What is this, 2000? Now, I'm not saying I needed anything crazy for the color palette or anything like that, but everything just seems very dull. Even with the neon lights there, none of the environments really popped out to me. I'm not saying they look bad or anything like that, but I was kind of expecting a little more, because you want something in space to like really wow you, to make you want to go to the next planet, but if there's not that, it's just like, yeah, there's the next planet. I guess I can go visit it just to collect resources. It doesn't matter what environment it is, and that's something I feel like I shouldn't feel when I'm exploring planets and everything around me in the universe. Especially, they said there's thousands of planets, but they're all going to be procedurally generated, and that's just giving me No Man's Sky flashbacks. It's just horrific. Let's see what Todd Howard has to say about base building, a new feature.
And you can build your own outposts. These act as a home away from home for survival and resource generation.
So when I first saw this, I was super excited. I was like, yes, this is going to be awesome, especially resource generation. It'll be easy to do everything. But then I got Fallout 4 flashbacks, and everybody remembers a Fallout 4 base building. You could completely ignore it, which, again, isn't a bad game design, because if somebody hates it, you don't want to force them into doing it. But it didn't feel rewarding to build your base up, because you didn't get much out of it. Like, you could craft and stuff, but, I mean, crafting didn't feel rewarding in that game either, so...
You can choose where and how to build each one.
But this one...
And you can hire characters.
This one looks a little more advanced. The base building seems more satisfying, because in Fallout 4, it felt like you were just cobbling stuff together, which fit for the theme since it was nuclear Fallout. But this one looks like all the buildings snap together way better. And I do like how you can hire people that you meet in the world. Again, that's like Fallout 4, but hopefully they make more of an impact, and you can actually have them do more tasks.
To keep it up and running.
Like, I like the little R2-D2 right there.
That's not all.
Oh, there's more?
You can even build your own space.
Oh, dang. Now, this will be cool, customizing your ship. I'll be excited to do this, but how much does it really matter? Are you really just going to be able to play with the same components and just move them in different spots? Is everyone's ship going to be basically the same on the inside? Are you going to be able to use duplicates of stuff? Are there going to be some parts of the ship that you don't even need, so you can just omit them and have like a really tiny ship?
Crew members. And yeah, yes, you can completely customize the look.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, it looks cool, like, right now, but,
There's
like,
loads of different
are you
modules,
going to be able
manufacturers,
to have different kind of weapons on it? Because I've only
have to
seen
say,
the,
it's
like,
so
laser
cool.
weapons and I think a rocket, and that's about it. But, I mean, these ships look essentially all kind of the same size and shape. Now, I was debating leaving this out or not, but we're going to discuss spatial animations here.
You'll be part of solving that puzzle now.
So normally I wouldn't include this because it's graphical, and a lot of graphical stuff doesn't really matter in the end. I mean, you can have as good graphics as you want. If the game plays terrible, that doesn't matter. If the game plays really good, but the graphics are terrible, I mean, again, it doesn't matter. But if you're gonna go out of your way to zoom up on people's faces, at least put a little expression behind it. Like, the face model doesn't look too bad. I mean, it looks a little old gen, but it doesn't look too bad. But there's no animation or emotion in it. It's just very stiff. They're all very stiff. Look at it. Look at it. It's creepy. It's like they're taking a mouse and dragging his eyebrows up. It's really freaking me out. Look at this man's dead eyes. Look at him looking past your soul. It's terrifying.
Of course.
Oh, and this man right here, look at him. It looks like he's looking past you, reading the script. It's crazy.
You may be wondering, just how big is this game?
Yes, Todd Howard.
So we thought we'd take one last moment
That is
and show you.
the most important thing.
Let's take a look at one of our planets.
Please
Genesis.
tell me.
You can land into Atlantis, but you can also land and explore
Okay.
anywhere on the planet.
Okay, anywhere on the planet. Again, I don't know if it's walking or not.
It's all the planets in the system.
Okay, that's a couple planets to
Barren,
go.
resource-heavy ice balls to Goldilocks planets.
Okay. What do you mean by life? Like a creature here or there?
Over 100 systems.
Oh, 100
Over
systems.
1,000 planets, all open
Okay,
for
a
you to
thousand
explore.
planets.
Can't wait to see what you find.
Oh, thank you, Todd. I hope I'll be able to show it off to everybody, my procedurally generated planets. That'll be so much fun. I hope they're all barren. I hope there's like one city on each planet and the rest is barren. That'll bring me so much joy. That's what you get with procedurally generated planets. I don't know why people keep doing this. It's like, I'd rather have a very small amount of planets that are handcrafted than all these procedurally generated. Everybody just wants to go bigger and bigger and bigger, but why do I want to explore if there's nothing out there? Like, there's literally no reason. Now, I know it sounds like I'm kind of trashing the game all the way through and through, but that's not the case. Like, there's a lot of good things in this game, and I'm wanting it to be good, but everything I've seen so far has kind of let me down. This is probably why I didn't show anything off beforehand. It definitely needs a lot more touch-up, and I don't see it coming out in the next year. But I really want it to be good. I think they should tighten up facial animations, gunplay, change the color palette a lot, change space combat. Unless space combat's a little better and maybe they didn't show everything off that they have and they just want to hold it back so they can show it off later, closer to the release date. But a lot of this stuff I'm not really counting on. I mean, I'm gonna take it just like how Fallout and Skyrim all came out. I mean, well, excluding Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind, all great games, and they were greater with mods, but the Fallout series is the closest thing I have to relate this to because it is guns, it's shooting, armor, everything like that. And those games, they were okay when they came out, but they were like, except for New Vegas. New Vegas is incredible. They were really tightened up with all the modding community out there, and they made those games phenomenal. So, again, this is just my low IQ take, so if you guys have any other opinions, write them down in the comment. Don't forget to follow and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.